Let me tell you this, let me tell you right now, your exquisite kiss still burning.
Hello and thank you for tuning in. This is Barbara, and today I have a few things planned in this junk journal with me. So as you can see here, this is a prompt list for autumn. So it's called the Ultimate Autumn Prompts 2019 that Demi from D Journals and I have created together. And you can find the link for this document down below in the description box, so you can download it yourself in case you want to join us. And also, if you are on Instagram, we've posted it there, and we'd love if you could join us and post your spreads that you've made using our prompts in the hashtag Ultimate Autumn Prompts 2019. So I'm going to tackle one of the prompts in the prompt list, and it is number 15, which reads, Autumn-themed collage, adding a word, phrase, or quote about autumn. And I will be doing this quite literally, as you will see. And at the end of my collage, I thought I would start with trying to give some tips for some of the collages that you have sent me. And so there's two ladies that we're going to try to help today, and we will get more into that later. So first, I'm going through my ephemera folder. I have a link down below in case you want to see the video of how I made this ephemera folder. I am just choosing some items that I think I might use for the collage. I did know I wanted to theme it with mushrooms, and so everything else I'm choosing are meant more for layering and for background, since the mushrooms were going to be the stars of the spread. So I'm just picking out some bits and pieces that are neutral and that maybe have some fall colors in them, different tones of browns and beige and oranges, maybe some yellow, I don't remember. So most of these pieces I actually will not be using, but of course, at this point, I have no idea what I'm going to be using, so I'm just taking things out to make it easier on me. These here are mushroom stamps that I have stamped on random scraps of paper. They are AliExpress, and I will link these stamps down below. They are wooden stamps. I really love them. And these little bits here are also little pieces of ephemera that I've just made on coffee stained paper with various stamps and punches. So that's something you can easily prepare in advance so that you have some things to work with in case you don't have enough other ephemera, or to complement other ephemera that you already have. But I think it's really great to make your own ephemera as well, as much as we all love the stickers and the washi. I think it's nice to combine them. So these are some tickets I have made with the Tim Holtz ticket booth set. I will link that down below as well, the die cut and the stamps. And this is my drawer that I have my scraps in, so I'm also grabbing a few of these pieces, which will be the base of my collage. So I chose this page in Allison's beautiful journal. I have, as always, linked Allison's Instagram down below in case you're interested in looking at some of her amazing journals that she has. She doesn't have a shop, but she does sell these journals. So if you're interested in her style, just send her a direct message. So now what I'm doing is I am just adding some of those scrap papers to add some more interest and layers to my background. Now I'm not going to go crazy on this because the background of the page is already beautiful in itself, so I didn't want to cover all of that up, but I did want to add some more interest to that page before I start putting my actual collage pieces on there. So I'm really trying hard not to think too much, and I'm just kind of putting things down. The only thing I always do is I only put things vertically and horizontally, and I stick to rectangular shapes as much as possible. That is just the most pleasing for my eye. So now I'm taking my ephemera pieces and I'm trying to decide what else to put there, maybe to combine with some of the mushroom images. But I thought first it would be better to choose the mushroom images I would use so that I would know what colors and shapes and sizes to go with for the background. So here I'm going through some of the images. Some of them are scans from vintage books I have. And for example, these, I think all of those are. And I just scanned them and then printed them on some coffee stained paper, in this case. And I thought both of them were too big for the page that I was working on. So I wanted to size both of those down. So the one I just tore with my tearing ruler that I have linked below as well in 2 different links, and the other one, as you saw, I just cut out. And now I'm going to ink both of those up with my vintage photo distress oxide because those are my focal points and I really want those to stand out. Then I decided for the word or phrase that I wanted to add, because that was the prompt, I wanted to add the word, very simply, the word autumn. And actually, I do like the word autumn better than the word fall. And so I wanted to write that in a calligraphy font. And I'm going to be using a 2mm flat nib. And I wanted to write it in pencil first because I am still not confident enough to write this freehand. So I made some guidelines to make sure I had my 10-degree slant that is required for this font. And now I'm going to just write this word, putting ink on my pen nib with my brush, as I learned in my course, which was very unusual for me, but in the meantime I'm loving it. And there's the word. And after everything was dry, I just erased all my pencil lines, and now I'm also going to tear it out with my tearing ruler, just because I didn't want the smooth edges. And I'm also going to ink that up because that is also going to be one of my focal points. Now I would like to mention that collaging for me, it's a lot of fun. I love the challenge because every collage I believe is a challenge, at least for me. And they don't always come easily to me. Some come easily, but like this one, I was struggling. Like I've cut out a few bits here where I was just going back and forth, and I would have bored you to tears. But I think still you can see that I was struggling a bit, and so I did like this combination of that little mushroom together with the calligraphy, and the background behind it was too busy for me for that to really pop. So I decided to just glue a piece of that same coffee dyed paper underneath, just to calm that area of the spread down a little bit to make that really stand out. So, but then obviously the page still needed something, and I found this one piece that was actually a piece from the subscription box, Your Creative Studio. I have an unboxing for these in my playlist. And I saw that this one piece had this hand with a calligraphy pen, so how perfect. So I just cut it out. Now I'm inking it up, and I wanted to place that somewhere near my calligraphy for it to kind of make sense. but I definitely thought the whole collage needed some more layering, and so I am trying to figure out how to make the colors work and the shapes work for me. So I just started pulling in a few pieces that I thought might work. I really love this Analog Life label, I guess you can say. I was given this in a Happy Mail. I believe this is probably from Cafe Analog, from their shop. They have such beautiful stamps. And I still felt like it needed some more interest and some more layering, so I tried a few more bits. I did not end up using that middle ticket there. The color was a bit off for me. I did like that bottom label that I just added, which is also just a stamp that I have that I've pre-stamped. And yeah, I like this a lot better because the orange goes really well together with the orange of the mushroom. And now I'm starting to glue pieces down, and somehow when I glue my collages down after I have my layout, it never turns out quite the way I had it there before. I don't know why that is, but it just kind of happens. I don't even know in the end which version was the better one, but yeah, once it's glued down, that's what we're gonna go with, obviously. Okay, so yeah, so this autumn piece, I totally moved up a whole bit. And lastly, I add this hand with the calligraphy pen. So that's my collage. It doesn't feel 100% right for me, to be honest, but I'm happy enough with it to leave it as is. Okay, so now we are moving on to some collages that you ladies have sent to me, asking for some help because you are not happy with the outcome. For anyone else who would like to do that, please send me your collages to my email address, which is 49dragonflies@gmail.com. You can also find it in the description box below. And I would love to show your collages, and maybe we can find some ways to improve them in case you're not happy with them. Now, obviously, I don't know it all, and I'm not the expert in collages, but I do have some experience, so I hope that I can help you along a little bit if you're unhappy with your outcome. And one proposal I have is, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this, instead of doing it like this, because I actually would love to hear your feedback as well, because I'm sure a lot of you have experience in collages and make beautiful collages. And as I said, I don't know it all, so I would love this to be like kind of a team effort to try to help each other out with our collages. So my proposal would be that maybe if I get more collages from you, then I could do a live session in which I would do the same thing as I'm doing now. I would try to give you tips on how to improve your collage, and since it's live, I could have a chat running next to it, and you guys could give your input as well, because today when we do it, I would also love to hear your feedback via the comment section below. If you have any feedback, that would be amazing. That would help these ladies a lot. But of course, doing this live with a chat is a whole nother thing, and I've never done a live video, so it's a huge challenge for me. Hopefully I can make that work. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this is something you'd be interested in, and send me your collages, okay? So now finally moving on to talking about this tag. So this lovely tag is from Loretta from Kansas. So thank you, Loretta, for trusting me with your collages. And Loretta sent me 3 pieces, so this is the first of 3. And my first thoughts with all 3 pieces were actually, these are quite nice. So this is a challenge for me to try to improve them, because obviously, Loretta, you were not happy, but I'm not quite sure what exactly you're not happy with, so I'm just gonna go with what I see here. And the first thing I want to say is, so I like this tag, and my eyes go straight to the red flower, so for me that is definitely the focal point. And I love the butterflies peeking through underneath on the right side. Now the question is, what is Loretta not happy with and what could we improve? So on the top, I'm guessing Loretta is not happy with the top part because probably there's no focal point. So my suggestion for this would be to, if you can find another butterfly, Loretta, I think that would work really nicely. If you could find like a medium-sized butterfly, maybe a little bigger than the ones in blue on the right, maybe in a color similar to the flower, and then have that flying in from the top. So basically you would put it upside down, maybe at a slanted angle, so flying kind of like towards the flower. I think that would look really nice. And the other option is maybe you have, so instead of the butterfly, not in addition, is if you have similar flowers to the one that you have on the bottom, maybe you have a little smaller version, or you have the same version and you just use a part of that and have that coming again from the top, but maybe just use a partial image of that same flower, just kind of coming in from the top. That would work as well. And you could also, I think you could add a small word or even a small quote, if it's small enough, down on the bottom where the leaves are. So I think those tips should help you to maybe bring the whole tag together and to give it interest on the whole tag and not just on the bottom without kind of overloading it. So let me know how that goes, and if you alter it in the way that you like, or even if you're still unhappy after these alterations, please send me another picture and we can go over it again. I do think it's really challenging to give someone advice when you can't show them physically what you mean. You can only explain it with words. So that is a huge challenge for me, and I hope you guys still are getting something out of this. Moving on to picture number 2. So this is a tag in a tuck spot, and the tag has an image of 2 birds and a label on the bottom, and it's stitched all around. I hope you guys can see that well enough. So what I like about this is I love how you tied the 2 together by using the same purple color on the topper of the tag, then the same as the tuck spot. So that really works well together. I love the background of the tag. I'm not sure how you did that, but it looks really nice, and I love the stitching around it as well. What I would do, I think you have the same problem here, that you have something on the bottom but the top is empty. What I would do, the first thing I'm thinking of when I see that is, what I would do is I would actually try to make a little pocket in the, or at the top of the bird image, meaning I would take a Stanley knife and try to very, very gently slice that image off of the tag, just enough so you could stick something underneath. And what I would stick in there is for example some floral images, or some twigs that are either maybe stickers if you have, or some other images that you might have, and then that you could just kind of stick out of there to move into the top half of the tag. Another thing I would do is add a word on the bottom of the tag where that label is. What you could also do is you could handwrite or stamp a short quote on the top part, and maybe put a piece of lace over the bottom of the label if you don't want to add another word there, because that might be too much if you have a quote on the top and the bottom. And if any of you have any other ideas, please, as I said, please write them down in the comments below, because collectively I'm sure we can help Loretta figure something out. Moving on to the third picture that Loretta sent me, I don't know what to say other than I really like it. I am really not sure what you don't like here. I can tell you what I see here. So I love the colors. You have 3 elements that are in a triangle shape. So that's the plant on the left. Then you have the just a note piece there, and then you have the stamp on the bottom. So that forms a beautiful triangle, giving the page some energy and very pleasing to the eye. It makes your eye wander around the page. So I really wouldn't know what to improve here, and I'm not sure what you want to improve or what you're not happy with. So yeah, maybe for the future, for other viewers, if you send me your collages, maybe please add what you don't like, because for example, as you see here, I really don't know what to say because I'm loving it as it is. So if any of you have comments that might help Loretta, please add them below. So thank you, Loretta, so much for sending me these and for being our guinea pig with this first episode of trying to help you. I hope some of my comments were helpful for you, and please check on the comments that will be written below. Hopefully there will be more helpful comments for you. So now I'd like to move on to the next viewer, and her name is Grenay, and she is from Georgia in the US. And she has sent me a few photos. So this is the outside of her beautiful junk journal that she made, also with flexible binding and some beautiful charms. There's even a dragonfly I see. It's so cute. So she just thought it would kind of help if we saw what her journal is like, to see what her style is like. And I'm really glad, Grenay, that you sent these photos, because your journal is absolutely lovely. So Grenay sent me some things that she feels she struggles with, and so I'm gonna read you those. So she thinks she's trying too hard to make a spread mean something instead of just enjoying the process. I think a lot of us have issues with that, including myself. And I think we all need a reminder once in a while that a page doesn't need to have a deeper meaning. Its purpose is to for us to enjoy the part of creating it, and then that's it. It can just be pretty on itself. It doesn't need to have a deeper meaning, but I do struggle with that as well sometimes. The next thing she feels she struggles with is putting colors together. And the last thing is where to go next. So here you see the bottom corner she felt came together quickly, but then she didn't know what to do. So she loved this image of the telephone, and I totally understand why, because I love it too. And so all of this is stuck down. We can't really change anything there, but as you see, the top is still very empty. And so then she had some options of maybe what she could add, and she sent me a photo of that as well, but without sticking it down. So this is what she had come up with. So she has this quote saying, "It makes no difference how many peaks you reach if there was no pleasure in the climb." Now that is a great quote, but Grenay, what I would like to say here is, as much as I love the quote and I love the telephone, I don't know how they connect. So I feel that if you put a quote onto something, it's really nice if there is a connection to connect the two together. That is something we need to maybe change. But first I'd like to say a few more things about what I see here. So I think you chose a great color combination. So you said you love colors, so great. And you chose purple and yellow, which are complementary colors, meaning they are opposites on the color wheel, and those colors will always work. So I've mentioned before, what always works if you really want to use a lot of strong colors is either you go with complementary colors, and you can just look up what the color wheel is on Google or something, and just choose colors that are opposites on the color wheel, or you choose colors that are next to each other. That always also works. So you can't really go wrong with either option. So since the telephone is already glued down, we're going to leave the telephone where it is. And I would say maybe we choose a different quote. What I would do in this case is I would try to Google a quote maybe about communication or about connecting with people. Or even you could just look up a quote about a telephone, which is what I did. So I just quickly Googled it, and one quote I found which I might put on this collage is, "The telephone gives us the happiness of being together, yet safely apart." And it's by Mason Cooley. Now you're welcome to use this one, or find your own quote. I literally just typed in quote about telephone and found a whole bunch of quotes. So that's what I would do. Now for the background, if you want to use this yellow scrap on the top, which I think is perfectly fine, then I would also add a third yellow element, again to give it this uneven number or odd number, and to arrange them in the form of a triangle, meaning you do not put them one under the other, but arrange them so they have this energy again in the form of some kind of triangle. And like the third piece could be a small one, and you could maybe put it somewhere right by the top right of the phone. Also, I would add more layers to create more interest on the top part. If this was my collage, I would probably just continue with what you were doing on the bottom, all the way to the top more or less, sticking to the muted washi and the scraps. And then you're still gonna see some of the purple peeking through on the edges and maybe somewhere in between. And you can still use the yellow as your focal points to create the interest. If you want to give that a try, you're also of course welcome to send me more pictures, letting me know if you're happy or not with your final outcome. And my other viewers, please help Grenée and give her some feedback as well in your comments. I'm sure she would greatly appreciate it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and this was a bit different. And I hope there was some value in what I was saying for the collages. I hope there was value for my other viewers as well, if you're struggling with collages. So maybe we'll do a live session, depends on what you guys want, and depends on if you send me some more collages. I do have some more to go through, so either those will come in a live episode or a regular one, depending on what the outcome is. Thank you so much for watching this longer episode, and enjoy your collaging. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.
Hold me so close, I want further in under your skin. Wanna leave a mark so that I can be sure that you remember what's been. I used to be satisfied.